King Theropod is a pathological liar, and this isn't just another debunk. This is a reckoning, the point of no return. What follows will not only prove his dishonesty beyond any shadow of a doubt, it will strip away every layer of false credibility he's been hiding behind. From this moment on, anything he says, any analysis he presents, any so-called review he uploads should be treated with absolute suspicion. Every claim should be dissected, every word questioned, because this is a creator who has built his platform not on truth but distortion. His credibility is gone, and by the end of this video, even his most loyal followers will see why. This is not just a rebuttal, this is an exposure, a dismantling, and by the time we're finished, there will be no room left for denial, no safe corner to retreat to, and no excuse that could save him from what he's done. If you've followed my previous debunks, you'll already know what to expect. And you'll remember how that one video alone triggered not one, not two, but more than 4 separate responses from him. And every one of them, without fail, was immature, defensive, and very unprofessional. But as always, I'll stay on the side of professionalism. We'll rise above the childishness because the facts themselves are devastating enough. Now let's get to the part what matters most in this video. His first community post begins with this: "Are you dumb? I never stated the lioness was killed definitively. I stated I had some doubts. That's it. LOL. Learn how to read." This one post alone reveals more than he realizes. This is a blatant cover-up, a poorly thought out excuse to dodge accountability for his own words. His so-called doubt statement is being weaponized here as a smokescreen. Notice he doesn't actually clarify anything, he's just rewriting. Now let's break this all down very carefully. In his original video, this is all of what he said. According to news reports, it appears that the zoo tried to claim that this lioness died during childbirth. Based on this video evidence here, I have some doubts about this claim here. I personally think that the zoo staff are trying to save their ass basically, and they're just trying to make up a story to not make themselves look bad. This particular lioness died shortly after this encounter. The gender and identity of the tiger has not been identified yet. Now this is where the real analysis begins. He wants you to believe that when he said he had some doubts, he was referring to whether the lioness died after the encounter. But that's a lie, and his own words prove it. The doubts he expressed were clearly about the zoo's childbirth claim, not about his later statement that the lioness died after the encounter. These are two separate thoughts, completely disconnected in both grammar and context. Now let's actually read it carefully, shall we? According to news reports, it appears that the zoo tried to claim that this lioness died during childbirth. Based on this video evidence here, I have some doubts about this claim here. His wording was very specific, as he specifically said this claim, and he also used the word here twice, emphasizing what his doubts are directly tied to, that being the zoo's official statement. He later gives a further explanation on why he has those doubts, by accusing the zoo staff of potentially lying, which directly connects his doubt claim. Then he moves in a completely new statement by saying, this particular lioness died shortly after this encounter. Notice this statement he made doesn't tie in any way to his previous words. This is a factual assertion he's making, stated as fact. This is not an opinion. There's no I think or no possibly or no maybe. He said this as a fact, and no official reliable source ever claimed the lioness was killed after this encounter. It's King Theropod who pushed that false narrative. This statement ultimately disconnects itself from his previous claims. So when he later insists, I only had doubts, that's revisionism. That's lying by omission. He's pretending his earlier declarative statement never existed, but the evidence shows otherwise. Let me make myself very clear to you, King Theropod. Completely clear. You had doubts about the zoo's childbirth claim, not about the lioness being killed. You made that latter sound like an undisputed fact. When confronted with evidence of that, you scrambled to hide behind the doubts excuse to mislead anyone not paying close attention. That's not just confusion, King Theropod, that's deception, and I just proved it. Here's something more incriminating that you know you did. In my first debunk, I documented every single element. That includes screenshots, quotes, timestamps, upload dates, and even the video's lengths. Theropod's original upload was 1 minute and 43 seconds long, with the incriminating line appearing around 1 minute and 6 seconds to 1 minute and 10 seconds. But when I revisited the same video later, it was 1 minute and 39 seconds long, instead of being 1 minute and 43 seconds long. That's 4 seconds shorter than it originally was. What were those missing 4 seconds? It's the exact segment that I exposed last time. If you visit his channel right now and skip to 1 minute and 6 seconds, you will notice the abrupt cut. The claim he made is now gone, deleted. That's a surgical removal, a desperate attempt to erase the evidence of his own false claim. He didn't correct his mistake, he tried to bury it. Deleting content after being exposed isn't what confident, honest creators do, King Theropod. It's what insecure, guilty ones do when they're cornered and can't face the truth. And that same pattern repeats. In my 40-minute debunk, as some of you could recall a while back, I called him out for claiming that the lion kept his eyes closed during the entire strike session. That's what he claimed. I used slowed down footage and timestamps to disprove him beyond doubt. And what was his response? He deleted the original video too, and re-uploaded a new one with a completely changed argument. And suddenly, his new argument shifted to didn't keep his eyes closed intermittently. He started to backtrack.
Because this boxer here is not receiving multiple punches. He's only receiving one punch. And also, he didn't keep his eyes closed during the entire strike session.
Because this boxer here is not receiving multiple punches. He's only receiving one punch. And also, he didn't keep his eyes closed intermittently.
This, among many other things, is one of the many reasons that caused King Theropod to severely lose our last debate. So let's establish exactly what we've uncovered. King Theropod did in fact make a definitive claim that the lioness died after the encounter with the tiger. He later lied by pretending he only had doubts about that. But those doubts were directed at the zoo's childbirth explanation, not the supposed killing. His doubt defense is a smokescreen, a weak cover-up to disguise the fact that he pushed a false narrative. And it gets even worse. He had the nerve to end his post with "learn how to read," when it's painfully clear that he's the one struggling to comprehend his own phrasing. The irony writes itself. But here's where things get even more telling. He didn't just lie. King Theropod panicked. He deleted the evidence, he trimmed footage, he reconstructed arguments, and in doing so, he revealed exactly what I wanted him to. I predicted this behavior before it even happened. In my first debunk, I deliberately included every timestamp, every quote, every second of footage length, knowing that if he tried to tamper with anything, the change would be obvious. And he walked right into that trap. The evidence is all there. The timestamps, the edits, the missing footage, it's all a pattern. And that pattern exposes him for what he truly is. Dishonest, insecure, and incapable of standing by his own words. And for anyone thinking this is an isolated incident, it's not. He did the exact same thing before. The same evasive behavior, the same insecurity, the same manipulation. Every time he's exposed, he either deletes, edits, or backpedals. And then he went on to continue saying, and the few months time frame between events is a short period of time. So technically, yes, the events weren't spaced that far apart. Regardless, you got destroyed. Again, a non-response. He doesn't even attempt to refute the evidence. He just tries to justify it with meaningless noise. The time gap between the recorded encounter and the lioness's death wasn't short. It was 3 months apart. That's not close together. That's an entirely different season. And the only reason he even knows about that now, I found the records. I located the autopsy. I presented the full timeline. King Theropod, you didn't have any of that information in either of your videos. So Theropod's pattern is simple. Make an absolute claim, get proven wrong, then pretend it was all just doubts or taken out of context. It's dishonest, manipulative, and it's a disgrace to anyone who values integrity in factual reporting. His later arguments that attempts to justify the fights are equally hollow. We've already established through our in-depth analysis that it was a 2v1 for most of the encounter, and also did the math to prove it. The footage quality is too poor to make any reliable conclusions in the first 5 seconds. It wouldn't change the fact that this fight was not fair. If the roles were reversed, he would not be defending it how he is right now. His selective reasoning exposes his bias more than anything. Let's not forget, he's the one who originally covered this footage and never once mentioned that another tiger joined in, or the timeline of both events being unrelated to one another, or the autopsy report. It was only after I exposed the truth that he suddenly started spinning the narrative, twisting context, and gaslighting viewers into thinking it was already known. We've shown his logical inconsistencies, his factual omissions, his refusal to take accountability. Even at the end of his first video, he said the case was under investigation and that more information would come out in the future. And yet, to this day, he hasn't implemented the autopsy findings or any official updates in any of his videos or descriptions, because in doing so, it would only expose him further. He's simply too dishonest, which further depletes what little credibility he has. He's built his platform on selective presentation, pushing one-sided narratives to glorify tigers while hiding any evidence that contradicts them. It's bias wrapped in pseudo-professionalism. And the moment that bias gets challenged with facts, he lashes out like a child with insults, mockery, and childish deflections. That's not how truth stands. That's how insecurity collapses. So in closing, make sure to watch the most analytically robust coverage on this topic, because everything I've presented here is verifiable, timestamped, and documented. And keep an eye out for an upcoming update video on the main channel, because there's still crucial information Theropod is hiding from you that he doesn't want you all to know. So stay tuned for that.